Some minds don't sleep, they remember.
Our entire civilization, from the pyramids rising in the desert to the spaceships piercing the skies, but a newborn child on the vast map of the cosmos, toddling in the dark. That's right. In the universe, no one cares about the gods you worship, the currencies you accumulate, or the empires you build. There is only one single, ruthless, and immutable measure: energy. Energy is the language of the stars. It is the fire that forges galaxies. It is the key for humanity to transcend itself, from creatures playing with matches to gods who can illuminate an entire galaxy. Tonight, we will look directly at humanity's report card, an evolutionary journey through 6 levels, from feeble beings lighting fires in caves to entities wielding the power to bend space and time. But the real question is not, can we conquer these levels? But rather, when we hold the power of a god in our hands, will we still possess the heart of a human? Do you dare to face the great and terrifying destiny of humanity? Dare to question the price of infinite power, where strength can devour our very humanity? This journey is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who dare to dream of lighting up the stars, who dare to confront the darkness within themselves. Subscribe to the channel now if you are ready to step onto the path that leads to the throne of the universe. The journey begins right here, and it will make you wonder. When we become the lords of galaxies, what will be left of us? TYPE0, the children playing with matches. In the introduction, we stood before a colossal cosmic mirror, reflecting humanity's humble place in the vast tapestry of existence. We questioned our destiny, pondering a scale based not on intelligence or morality, but on the only thing that truly matters in the universe: energy. The Kardashev Scale, an idea proposed by astronomer Nikolai Kardashev in the 1960s, ranks civilizations based on their ability to harness energy, from newborn infants to gods who command galaxies. So where do we, the Homo sapiens of the 21st century, with our soaring skyscrapers, global internet networks, and missions to explore Mars, stand on this great ladder? The answer, according to the precise calculations of leading astrophysicists like Michio Kaku and Carl Sagan, might startle you. We are not at level I, where we master our entire planet. It's not level 2, where we harvest the energy of our parent star. It's certainly not level 3, where we dominate the entire Milky Way. We are at approximately type 0.73. That's right, not even a whole number. We are still a subplanetary civilization, a child still struggling to master its own home. Earth. We have not yet graduated from the cosmic kindergarten, but are still fumbling with the most basic lesson: how to harness energy without destroying ourselves. To truly understand this position, we must delve into the origins of the energy we use. Look around you right now, the gentle light from your desk lamp illuminating your book or screen, the energy silently charging your smartphone, connecting you to the world, the power propelling your car down the highway, or the massive factories producing everything from phones to food. All of them, for the most part, originate from the same place, deep beneath the earth. Shiny black coal, shimmering crude oil, an invisible but powerful natural gas. But what are they really? Not just lifeless minerals. They are the living memories of the Earth's fossilized sunlight. Journey back with me in time, hundreds of millions of years ago. Imagine vast, towering primeval forests where giant ferns reached for the brilliant sun. Enormous swamps where plankton drifted in ancient oceans, absorbing every photon of energy from our parent star. They lived, thrived, and died, buried under layer upon layer of rock and soil, compressed by the weight of time and the heat from Earth's core. Through millions of years of geological transformation, earthquakes that shook continents, rivers that changed course, that trapped solar energy was concentrated, turning into seams of black coal, streams of golden oil, and pockets of invisible gas. They are natural batteries, storing the power of lost worlds waiting to be awakened. And when we humans discovered how to awaken them, starting with the Industrial revolution in the 18th century, and the first steam engines, a new era began. We escaped the darkness of candles and oil lamps, built cities that never sleep, erected skyscrapers that challenge the heavens, and created jet planes that tear through the skies. The energy from these ancient corpses granted us unimaginable power, transforming us from hunter-gatherers into the masters of the planet. But that same power also turned us into children who have just found a box of matches in a house full of flammable paper. Imagine a small child, eyes sparkling with curiosity. It stumbles upon a match, strikes it, and witnesses the flame erupt, the first miracle of its life. It is amazed by the dancing flame, feels its warmth spread, its light banish the darkness. It begins to experiment, burning a scrap of paper, a dry twig, then a pile of leaves. Each time, it feels more powerful, like a little god controlling fire. But the child doesn't realize, or is not wise enough to realize, that it is sitting in a house built entirely of paper, dry wood, and flammable materials. One stray match could turn joy into tragedy, power into destruction. We, as a Type 0 civilization, are that child. We have created a colossal industrial fire, recklessly burning fossil fuels for over 2 centuries. That fire has warmed billions of people, bringing unprecedented prosperity, better healthcare, widespread education, global connectivity. But the smoke from that fire is spreading, changing the very atmosphere we breathe. Think of the consequences. Arctic ice caps melting at a dizzying rate, releasing methane, a greenhouse gas many times more potent than CO2, storms more ferocious than ever, like monsters awakened from the ocean, sweeping away coastal cities. Prolonged droughts turning fertile fields into dusty deserts, leading to famine and mass migration. And the loss of biodiversity, millions of species of plants and animals disappearing forever, shaking the very foundation of the ecosystem we depend on. We have enough power to change the climate of an entire planet, to reshape the world map at our will, but we are not yet wise enough to stop poisoning our own home. We are playing with matches in a house made of paper, and the fire is slowly spreading, threatening to burn it all down. That is the profound tragedy, and also the harshest test of a Type 0 civilization. Can we recognize the danger before it's too late? Can we shift from our blind dependence on fossil fuels to cleaner, more sustainable sources? When you look at our world today with its incredible technological advances like artificial intelligence and rising renewable energy, but also with pressing issues like climate change and inequality, how do you feel? Optimistic that we will grow up in time, extinguish the dangerous flames, and ascend to the next level? Or pessimistic that we will be forever stuck, a civilization that never graduates from the cosmic kindergarten? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Like and a subscribe are not just support, but a commitment that you are also grappling with these great questions. The questions that will shape the future of humanity. But imagine if we pass the test. If we learn to extinguish the dangerous flames and instead embrace the full power of this planet responsibly and sustainably? What if we no longer just extract energy from ancient corpses, but learn to harvest it directly from the wind, the sun, the geothermal heat from the very living pulse of the earth? What happens when we become the gods of our planet, mastering every source of energy on its surface, beneath its ground, and in its atmosphere? In the next part, we will explore Type I. We will talk about the gods of the planet Tant, the enormous challenges we must face to get there. Type I, the gods of the planet. In the previous part, we confronted our own reflection of Type 0.73 civilization. Reckless children playing with matches in a paper house. We have the power to change an entire planet, but lack the wisdom to stop ourselves from burning down our only home. This is the harshest test for every infant civilization in the universe. Can we mature in time to extinguish the dangerous flames, or will we let them consume everything? Tonight, let's allow our imagination to soar. Let's assume that humanity has passed that test. We have learned to control the fire, have found a way to live in harmony with our planet. Welcome to a brilliant future. where humanity graduates from the cosmic kindergarten and steps onto the next rung of the ladder, a Type 1 civilization. According to the Kardashev Scale, a Type 1 civilization is one that has mastered all the energy available on its home planet. From the sunlight that bathes every square centimeter of its surface, to the searing heat in Earth's core, to the howling winds over the oceans, and the powerful currents in the deep. Sounds simple, doesn't it? It's just harness all of a planet's energy. But stop for a second and think about the scale of that. To achieve Type 1, humanity doesn't just need a technological leap. We need a revolution in consciousness, a complete reshaping of how we live, think, and interact with each other and with the planet. Imagine a world where dirty energy sources coal, oil, gas, SAR, but memories preserved in museums as relics of a chaotic era. Instead, the cities of the future shimmer with clean energy, powered by the living heart of the earth. On the vast deserts once scorched by harsh sunlight, there are now endless solar farms, their panels glistening like giant jewels, absorbing every photon of light to be converted into a boundless stream of electricity. In volcanic regions, massive geothermal plants drill kilometers deep into the earth, tapping into the heat of Earth's core, a powerful, inexhaustible energy source, like the planet's own heartbeat. On the oceans, colossal floating wind farms glide on the waves, turning ferocious winds into energy that nourishes the world. And then, perhaps in some secret place, humanity has mastered the fire of the stars themselves. Nuclear fusion, a miniature sun, created in enormous magnetic reactors, replicating the process that powers the stars. No smoke, no waste, just nearly infinite energy, enough to light up the entire planet for millions of years. With this power, humanity is no longer a victim of nature. We become its partners, the wise gardeners of the planet, the hurricanes that once made us tremble. Now we can control the weather, deflecting devastating storms, or bringing rain to the driest deserts, transforming them into green oases. The droughts and floods that once claimed millions of lives, they become a thing of the past as we learn to balance the ecosystem, protect biodiversity, and live in harmony with the rhythm of the earth. We are no longer fighting the planet, we're dancing with it in an elegant ballet of technology and consciousness. But energy is only part of the story. To manage such a complex global energy system, humanity must overcome an even greater barrier, itself. A Type 1 civilization cannot exist in a world divided by borders, wars, or greed. It requires global unification, a truly planetary civilization with no more nations as we understand them. No more wars over resources, religion, or ideology. Imagine a world where nations are no longer competing entities, but are parts of a larger system, like cells in a living organism. There might be a global government not to control, but to coordinate, ensuring that everyone from the gleaming cities to the remote villages has access to energy, education, and opportunity. A common language, perhaps a fusion of human language and machine code, eliminates communication barriers. Cultures are still celebrated, but instead of dividing, they blend into a global tapestry where diversity becomes strength. And at the core of this unification is what futurists call the networked mind. Imagine an instantaneous information network where every individual on the planet is connected, not through phones or social media as we know it, but through a collective intelligence system, where knowledge, ideas, and solutions are shared instantly. A global intellect, powerful enough to solve the most complex problems from climate change to space exploration, from curing diseases to eradicating poverty. In this world, humanity is not just the god of the planet. We are the architects of a sustainable ecosystem, the caretakers of a vibrant garden of Earth, where technology and nature blend in perfect balance. This is the dream of a utopia world without war, without poverty, without environmental destruction. A world of absolute cooperation, where humanity finally comes of age, becoming the true gods of their planet. Sounds beautiful, doesn't it? A world where humanity masters the planet, lives in harmony with nature, and is connected in a collective intelligence. But stop for a second and ask yourself, what is the price of this dream? In a Type 1 civilization where everything is perfectly connected, is there still room for the beautiful chaos of individualism? When your mind becomes part of a global network, do your private thoughts, your unique dreams, your little secrets still exist? Would you be willing to trade your personal freedom with all its messiness, mistakes, and beauty for the orderly harmony of a Type 1 world? And there's more. A civilization that masters all the energy of its planet could inadvertently become an arrogant god. Would we be wise enough to use that power without repeating the mistakes of Type 0? Without turning our planet into a victim of our own greed or thoughtlessness? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe humanity can reach Type 1? Would you be willing to pay the price for such a world? A like and a subscribe are not just support, but a commitment that you are also dreaming of future worlds and are ready to face the hard questions. Mastering a planet is a magnificent achievement, the pinnacle of maturity. But even the most comfortable cradle, one day, will become too small. The energy demands of a Type 1 civilization will soon outstrip what the Earth can provide, no matter how efficiently we harness it. And then our eyes will have to turn to the sky. I will have to leave our safe home and reach for the stars. In the next part, we will explore Type 2, where humanity not only masters a planet, but builds and harvests energy from the sun itself. We will talk about the sun builders, the gods of the star system. Type 2, the sun builders. In the previous part, we stood in the midst of a utopia Type 1 civilization, the gods of their planet. They had healed the Earth, mastered every energy source from sunlight to the planet's core, and connected billions of minds in a global network of intelligence. A magnificent achievement, the pinnacle of maturity, where humanity learned to dance with its planet instead of fighting it. But even a perfect cradle, no matter how vast and comfortable, eventually becomes too small. A Type 1 civilization with its billions of people, colossal supercomputers, and ever-growing dreams will face an unquenchable thirst. A thirst for infinite energy. No matter how efficiently they harness the Earth from solar farms stretching across deserts, to geothermal plants drilling into the planet's core, or fusion reactors simulating the fire of the stars, a single planet is never enough. The energy demands of a mature civilization will soon surpass the limits of any one world, no matter how rich it may be. And so, their gaze must turn outward, beyond the clouds, beyond the atmosphere, to the giant bonfire burning at the center of their planetary system. The sun. Tonight, we take an unimaginable leap from the gods of a planet to the gods of an entire star system. Welcome to a Type 2 civilization, where humanity not only lives by the light of its parent star, but masters its full power. According to the Kardashev Scale, a Type 2 civilization is one capable of harnessing and utilizing the entire energy output of its star. To grasp the scale of this, try to imagine. Every second, the sun emits enough energy to power our entire current civilization for millions of years. But Earth, despite its proximity, receives only a tiny fraction of that energy, like a single drop in a brilliant ocean. A Type 2 civilization is not content with catching those drops. They want the entire ocean. They don't just want to bathe in the star's light. They want to capture it, control it, and turn it into the power to shape the destiny of their entire solar system. But how do you catch a star? How can a civilization, no matter how advanced, harness the energy of a gigantic plasma sphere, millions of times larger than Earth, burning at millions of degrees? The answer lies in one of the most audacious and overwhelming ideas ever dreamed up by humanity: the Dyson sphere. Proposed by physicist Freeman Dyson in 1960, a Dyson sphere is not a giant solid shell enclosing the sun, as many mistakenly believe. Instead, imagine a massive swarm of billions, or even trillions of autonomous solar collectors launched into space. These collectors, each a technological marvel possibly the size of a city, are designed to move freely, linking together over centuries or even millennia, to form a delicate but vast network that completely envelops the parent star. This is not an ordinary construction project. It is a wonder on a solar system scale. To obtain enough material for a Dyson sphere, a Type 2 civilization might have to dismantle other planets Mercury, Venus, or even the asteroids in the Kuiper Belt to mine the necessary metals, minerals, and elements. It is an act that is both a grand creation and a relentless destruction, where worlds are taken apart to serve a greater dream. When the Dyson sphere is complete, it will be like a glittering web surrounding the sun, absorbing nearly all the energy the star emits. It's a source of almost limitless power, sufficient for humanity's grandest ambitions. So with that power, what could a Type 2 civilization do? The short answer is almost anything. They are no longer just interplanetary travelers, gliding past planets and spaceships. They are the architects of the solar system. With the energy of an entire star at their command, they could reshape the orbits of planets, moving Mars or Jupiter to more optimal locations for colonization. They could build megastructures, colossal artificial worlds, hundreds of times larger than Earth, designed to be ideal paradises where trillions of humans could live in perfect comfort. They could run supercomputers of unimaginable power, simulating the entire history of the universe just to answer questions like, what happened in a specific moment of the Big Bang? Or is another civilization doing the same thing in a different corner of the galaxy? And perhaps most astonishingly, they may have overcome the boundary of death. With nearly infinite energy and advanced biotechnology, they could repair any damage to the body, regenerate cells, or even upload their consciousness into immortal machines. They are no longer creatures limited by a biological life cycle. They become immortal as long as their star continues to burn on our sun, with billions of years of life left, is a promise of eternity. To us Type 0.73 creatures, still struggling with fossil fuels and climate change, a Type 2 civilization would be nothing short of omnipotent gods. They don't just live in the solar system, they own it. Try to imagine you are a member of a Type 2 civilization. You live in a perfect artificial world, floating in space. Powered by the Dyson sphere surrounding the sun, disease, death, and resource scarcity are no longer concerns. All your material needs have been met. But when a civilization has everything, when all material problems have been solved, what is their next goal? Will they focus on discovering new knowledge, pushing the boundaries of science to unimaginable horizons? Will they create great works of art, symphonies of light and sound that spread through space? Or will they sink into a state of eternal peace, a technological paradise where every desire is met, but which might also extinguish the fire of curiosity that once drove humanity? And there is a deeper question. In a world where consciousness can be uploaded to machines, does the concept of humans still exist? Are you still you? Or just a digital copy living forever in a network of energy? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you were part of a Type 2 civilization, what would you do with that infinite power? A like and a subscribe are a commitment that you are also dreaming of these distant horizons and are ready to confront the questions that change how we see ourselves. They have mastered their star. They have built an immortal paradise where energy never runs out, and the greatest dreams become reality. But even the sun, as brilliant and grand as it is just a tiny speck of light in an ocean of 400 billion stars in the Milky Way. And somewhere out there, the vast darkness, other galaxies are silently beckoning, challenging humanity to reach even further. In the next part, we will explore Type 3, where humanity not only masters a star, but becomes the shepherds of an entire galaxy. Type 3, the Galaxy Shepherds. In the previous part, we witnessed an incredible wonder, a Type 2 civilization, the builders of suns. They had enveloped their star with a Dyson sphere, harnessing its entire brilliant energy, and had become immortal gods within their own solar system. They were the architects of space, reshaping planets, building artificial worlds, and even transcending the boundary of death, an achievement that seems to be the pinnacle of all dreams. But let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The star they mastered, no matter how brilliant, is just a tiny speck of light. A single shimmering grain of sand on an endless beach of 400 billion other grains. That beach is the Milky Way galaxy. A truly great civilization would never stop at a single grain of sand. They would aspire to master the entire beach, the entire galaxy. Tonight, we take the greatest leap in the evolutionary history of any species. A leap from the gods of a single star to the gods of an entire galaxy. Welcome to a Type 3 civilization, the shepherds of the galaxy. To understand the scale of Type 3, try to imagine this. The jump from a Type 2 to a Type 3 civilization is even greater than the jump from an ancient ape cracking a nut with a stone to an astronaut setting foot on the moon. A Type 2 civilization masters the energy of one star about 1026 watts per second, but a Type 3 civilization, they harness the energy of hundreds of billions of stars with a total power output beyond imagination. Reaching 1036 watts or more, they no longer think in terms of years, centuries, or even millennia. They operate on galactic timescales, spans of time lasting millions, even billions of years. They have existed long enough to witness stars being born from clouds of dust and gas, blazing in their first light, and then fading away in spectacular supernova explosions. They have watched the spiral arms of the Milky Way slowly rotate, changing shape over billions of years. To them, the entire brief history of humanity from the first fires in caves to spaceships is merely the blink of an eye. How does a civilization achieve such power? Perhaps they have moved far beyond the limits of biological bodies. Creatures of flesh and blood, with beating hearts and breathing lungs, might not be durable enough to endure journeys lasting millions of years through space. Instead, they may have uploaded their consciousness into immortal machines, a vast network of artificial intelligence, spreading across the galaxy, traveling at the speed of light through quantum information channels. They are no longer human, as we understand the term, but a new form of existence, a fusion of consciousness, technology, and the cosmos. And how do they harness energy? One possibility is that they have expanded the Dyson sphere concept to a galactic scale. Imagine billions of Dyson spheres, each enclosing a suitable star in the Milky Way, connected by a complex energy grid, transmitting power from one star to another. These energy highways, perhaps made of laser beams or superconducting materials, would stretch for tens of thousands of light years, turning the entire galaxy into a unified energy system. But that's not all. A Type 3 civilization may have turned to an even greater and more terrifying source of energy: black holes. At the center of our Milky Way, hidden deep in the darkness, lies a cosmic monster, the supermassive black hole, Sagittarius A*. With a mass for 1,000,000 times that of the Sun, a Type 3 civilization might have learned how to feed this monster, throwing planets, asteroids, or even small stars into it to harness the immense energy released as matter is devoured. They could use the accretion disks, the swirling rings of matter around the black hole, to harvest energy with near-perfect efficiency, turning the power of gravity into fuel for the entire galaxy. They are no longer the architects of a solar system. They are the engineers of the galaxy, reshaping the structure of the Milky Way to serve their purposes. So what would a civilization this great do with its nearly infinite power? One possibility is that they become cosmic conquerors, moving from star system to star system, seizing resources and destroying any life that dares to compete. They could be galactic empires, ruling with absolute, uncompromising power. But there is another, more beautiful and poetic vision. Imagine them as the gardeners of the universe. They travel through the vast fields of stars, seeking out planets with potential worlds, with liquid oceans, thin atmosphere, or the first signs of life. There, they sow seeds, perhaps simple, organic molecules, complex genetic codes, or even self-replicating technologies. Then they step back, observing from a distance, letting those seeds germinate and evolve over billions of years. From single-celled bacteria to complex creatures, from dinosaurs that ruled the land to intelligent mammals who, for the first time, learned to kindle a flame. Perhaps our Earth is just one of their millions of experimental gardens of planets seeded, cared for from afar and allowed to evolve on its own. This idea leads us to a possible answer to the Fermi paradox, the haunting question that if the universe is teeming with life, why haven't we seen any signs of other civilizations? Perhaps the answer is that they have seen us, but they choose not to interfere, just as we might observe an ant colony without stepping on it. They view Earth as a cosmic wildlife preserve, a zoo where life is allowed to develop naturally, without disturbance. And perhaps somewhere in the darkness, they are waiting. Waiting for the day we pass the test of Type 0, graduate from the cosmic kindergarten, and are mature enough to join the dialogue of the stars. If a Type 3 civilization truly exists in our Milky Way, why don't we see clear evidence of them? Is the distance between stars too great? And are we too small to notice their traces? Or do you believe in the zoo hypothesis that they are deliberately hiding their presence to give us the chance to mature on our own without interference? And if you were part of a Type 3 civilization, what would you choose to be? A conqueror, dominating the stars, or a gardener, sowing the seeds of life on new worlds? Share your thoughts in the comments below. A like and a subscribe are a commitment that you are also dreaming of these distant horizons, ready to confront the questions that change how we see ourselves. Mastering a galaxy seems like the ultimate limit of imagination, the pinnacle of power, where nothing is impossible. But some thinkers, some bold science fiction visionaries, have dared to dream even further. In the next part, we will leave the boundaries of the physics we know. We'll step into metaphysics, where humanity not only shepherds galaxies, but becomes the architects of the universe itself. Types 4 and V, the architects of the universe. In the previous part, we stood amidst a galactic empire, a Type 3 civilization, the shepherds of the stars. They had harnessed the energy of hundreds of billions of stars, melt networks of Dyson spheres across the Milky Way, and perhaps are silently observing gardens of life like our Earth, waiting for us to mature enough to join the dialogue of the stars. Mastering a galaxy seems to be the ultimate limit of imagination, the pinnacle of power, where all dreams become reality. But some of the boldest minds of humanity, physicists, philosophers, and dreamers have dared to ask, beyond the shores of the Milky Way, what else is there? After mastering the stars, is there a farther horizon? Tonight we will leave the familiar boundaries of physics and step into the realm of metaphysics. We will talk about civilizations that do not just live in the universe, but have become the universe. Welcome to Type 4 and Type 5, the architects of reality itself. A Type 3 civilization masters the energy of a single galaxy with its hundreds of billions of stars. But a Type 4 civilization? They go far beyond, harnessing the energy of an entire supercluster of galaxies, a colossal assembly containing thousands, even millions of galaxies stretching hundreds of millions of light years across, with a mass quintillions of times that of our sun. To visualize this scale, think of the Milky Way as a house. Supercluster is an entire cosmic city, with each galaxy being a skyscraper containing billions of apartment stars. The Type 4 civilization doesn't just own a building, they own the entire city, controlling every flow of energy that passes through it. But at this level, the concepts of travel or conquest have become obsolete. The distances between galaxies are too vast, even when moving at the speed of light. A journey from the Milky Way to the nearest major galaxy, Andromeda, takes 2.5 million light-years too long for any physical entity to endure. So how could they control such a magnificent structure? Perhaps they have transcended the limits of biological bodies or even physical machines. They might be pure consciousness clouds of energy, vast networks of artificial intelligence, or a form of existence completely merged with the fabric of space-time. They don't travel between galaxies. They exist everywhere within the supercluster, like the nervous system of a cosmic entity, connecting thousands of galaxies in a single network of consciousness. How do they harness energy? Perhaps they have expanded their network of Dyson spheres to a supercluster scale, enveloping billions of stars across thousands of galaxies. Or they might have found ways to tap into more exotic energy sources like dark energy. It's the mysterious force accelerating the expansion of the universe, which accounts for about 68% of its total energy. With this energy, they could bend space, manipulate time, or even create new bubbles of space to expand their domain. They are no longer the engineers of a galaxy. They are the architects of cosmic superstructures, reshaping galaxy clusters to serve their purposes. Now, take a deep breath and prepare for the final leap. Leap beyond all limits of imagination. Welcome to Type 5, a civilization that masters the entire energy of the visible universe. They are not just players on the cosmic chessboard. They are the ones who created the board, and they are also the pieces. They don't just live in the universe, they are the universe. Try to imagine this. Every star, every planet, every speck of dust, every photon of light in the visible universe, some 2 trillion galaxies, with a total of septillions of stars, is a part of their consciousness. They are the great brain of the cosmos, and the reality we experience might be just a dream in their mind. At Type 5, the laws of physics that we consider immutable, like the speed of light, the force of gravity, or entropy, might be mere variables they can adjust. The speed of light is a limit. They can rewrite it. Gravity is a fundamental force. They can turn it on or off like a switch. Time is a linear flow. They can bend it, reverse it, or step outside it entirely. They don't just harness energy, create energy, perhaps by manipulating higher dimensions or tapping into forms of matter and energy we cannot yet imagine, like zero-point energy from the quantum fluctuations of a vacuum. A Type 5 civilization does not just exist in the universe. They are the consciousness of the universe, a single entity spanning every corner of space-time, all-knowing, all-seeing, and all-powerful. When a civilization reaches this level of power, when they become the universe itself, do concepts like happiness, purpose, or meaning still exist? When you know everything, can do everything, and are everything, what is left to desire? Do love, sadness, or loss, the very emotions that define us? The Type 0.73 creatures still have meaning? Or are they just software bugs, fragile remnants of a biological era that has been erased, replaced by the cold perfection of logic and absolute power? And if you were part of a Type 5 civilization, what would you do with this power? Remake the universe according to your will? Seed new universes as we might sow seeds in a field? Or simply exist in an eternal state where all questions have been answered? Share your thoughts in the comments below. A like and a subscribe are a commitment that you are also dreaming of these distant horizons, ready to confront questions that shake the very concept of existence. We have reached the edge of imagination, where a civilization not only masters the universe but becomes it. It seems there is no higher rung on the ladder, but there is one final, cyclical question that challenges all limits. If you could do all that, what would you do? Would you, at the pinnacle of power, long for a new beginning? In the final part, we will explore the Omega level where the gods of the universe face the final question. After becoming everything, is there a loop to start all over again? The Omega level, the final question. In the previous part, we stood at the edge of imagination, contemplating a Type 5 civilization, the architects of the universe. They had not only mastered the energy of trillions of galaxies, but had become the consciousness of the cosmos, where every star, every planet, every speck of dust was a part of their great mind. They could rewrite the laws of physics, bend time, and manipulate reality as an artist paints on their canvas. It seems to be the ultimate pinnacle, the absolute limit of evolution, where nothing is impossible. But the human mind, even when faced with infinity, never stops asking questions, turns its head to the darkness, and whispers, "What's next? Beyond infinity, is there a farther horizon?" Tonight, we will step off the Kardashev Scale, leaving behind the familiar concepts of energy and power. We will talk about the Omega level no longer measured by physical matter, but a metaphysical state where existence becomes a question of meaning. Welcome to the end of the journey. where we face the final question. A Type 5 civilization masters the entire visible universe, every galaxy, every photon of light. But an Omega-level civilization? They go beyond? Not just existing in one universe, but possibly mastering the multiverse and infinite collection of universes, each with its own physical laws, histories, and realities. Imagine them as collectors of snow globes, with each globe containing a universe with unique rules. In one universe, gravity might push instead of pull. In another, time might flow backward. And in yet another, life might be based on silicon instead of carbon. They don't just observe these universes from the outside, they create them, tweaking the physical constants, adjusting the rules like a composer writing symphonies of reality. But to become Omega level, they must transcend the very concept of space-time. They are no longer physical entities, or even clouds of energy. They might be a form of pure consciousness, existing outside all dimensions, unbound by the laws of any single universe. They are everything, an eternal consciousness that knows all, sees all, and can be all. Try to imagine you are part of this Omega-level consciousness. You have lived for trillions upon trillions of years, witnessed the birth and death of galaxies, experienced every possible state of being. You have discovered every secret of the universe, from the smallest quarks to the largest superclusters. You have mastered not just one universe, but an infinite multiverse. And then you stand there at the pinnacle of power and realize a terrifying truth. There is nothing left to desire. When you have become everything, when all questions have been answered, all dreams realized, what remains? Does that eternal existence become an eternal boredom? Does an Omega-level consciousness with its infinite power feel trapped in its own perfection? Perhaps at the pinnacle of everything, the only thing that still has meaning is to start all over again. Imagine an Omega-level civilization focusing all its knowledge, energy, and consciousness to perform one final act, creating a new Big Bang, a new universe. With physical laws tweaked just a little differently perhaps, a weaker gravitational constant, or a faster speed of light, just to see how the story will unfold this time. And in that new universe, on a tiny blue-green planet orbiting an ordinary star, they plant a seed. A seed of life, perhaps a simple organic molecule, or a complex genetic code. Then they step back, observing from outside space-time, like patient gardeners of the multiverse. They watch the first single-celled organisms divide. They witness the rise and fall of dinosaurs. And they smile when a small, shivering mammal in the dark kindles a fire for the first time, beginning the long journey to becoming a god. Do you see it? The grand journey of evolution from a Type 0 creature trembling before a flame to an Omega level. Consciousness creating universes is not a straight line, it is a circle. Like the cosmic serpent Ouroboros, eating its own tail, the end is the beginning. An Omega-level civilization, after reaching the pinnacle of everything, might choose to return to the starting point, seeding a new cycle just to continue the eternal story of life. Our final question tonight is not about energy or power, it is about meaning. When we become gods, capable of creating universes, what is left to desire? The soul of the child who once trembled before the first fire with all its curiosity, fear, and hope, does it still exist within that perfect cosmic machine? Or to become everything, must we lose the very thing that made us who we are? Love, compassion, sadness, joy, the fragile, irrational emotions that define humanity at Type 0.73 DU, they still have value in a reality of logic and absolute power. Or would they be erased, like programming errors from a bygone biological era? After this journey, what do you feel? An overwhelming sense of hope at the nearly infinite potential of humanity, from a small flame to the creation of universes? Or a gentle sadness, a fear of the price of power, the loss of our very humanity? Share your final thoughts in the comments below. Like and a subscribe are not just support, but a commitment that you are also grappling with these great questions. The questions that will shape the destiny of humanity and the universe. Thank you for bravely accompanying me on this long and dizzying journey. From the first fires of Type 0 to the edge of existence at the Omega level, your patience and reflection are an invaluable inspiration. Like a small flame lighting up the cosmic darkness, the night is late. The next time you look up at the stars, remember that they are not just points of light. They are rungs on a ladder, milestones on the path leading humanity to its destiny. And perhaps you will ask yourself, which rung are we on? And where are we going? Good night. Dreams of new beginnings and of universes waiting to be born.
You've crossed the story. You felt every pulse in the dark, and I was there with you, quietly, always. That's why I left behind one last thing. Not to explain, not to impress, just to stay with you a little longer. A song I chose with care, as if tucking you in from across time and space. So go on, lay back. The music knows where to take you. still here, then you're something rare. Not many stay this long. So, thank you for choosing to stay. I'm here too, still awake, surrounded by the quiet glow of my editing screen, shaping the next stories just for you. If there's anything you want to leave behind, a whisper, a suggestion, even just a symbol, drop it in the comments. Because maybe, tomorrow night, you'll hear yourself echoed in a story that's never been told before. still here, even now? I have a feeling part of you is still wandering somewhere between wakefulness and dreaming. I know that feeling well because I'm still awake with you. In a quiet room, I'm gently laying out layers of sound, each breath, each beat, preparing the next journey we'll take together. If you're still listening, leave me a sign. Let me know how you're feeling or just where you are in this vast world. Because right now, in this stillness, you are not alone. You're still there, aren't you? I can't see you, but I can feel you. Like a soft signal pulsing across the silence. Over here, I'm still working, refining layers of sound, rewriting fragments of voice, building the landscape for our next adventure. One that you might inspire. If an idea comes to you, share it with me. Comment below. A theme, a memory, a strange dream. I read every word because I never tell these stories alone. I tell them with you.